vocal compression. We finally gonna simplify this thing once and for all. Come on, let's go. Now that we're in Pro Tools, I got to shout out the artist of the track that we're going to be breaking down today. So shout out to my guy, Every Second, ridiculously talented R&B artist that I've had the pleasure to work with over the last few years. Definitely go check out his music if you're digging the sound. So we're not really going to break down all of this other stuff that we did. I'm just going to be breaking down how I actually compressed his vocals within this record. So that leads us right into the compression basics. So what is compression? What does it do? Its goal is to reduce the dynamic range of your audio signal. Now, what is dynamic range? Basically, what dynamic range is the difference between the loudest part of your audio signal and your quietest part of your audio signal. What a compressor is going to do is it's going to say, hey, we need this signal a little bit more consistent and it needs to be controlled a little bit more. So now that we got that out of the way, we're going to pull up this compressor and really start breaking down vocal compression. So the first thing that I really want to break down is the threshold. So what is this bad boy doing? What does a threshold do? What the threshold does is it's the setting that lets the compressor know where to engage. So as you see, whenever I play these vocals, yeah, girl, I wanna spin it. So with the signal being right here and the threshold being right here, basically what this threshold is saying is it's saying, hey, once you get past me, that's when your compressor is going to start to engage. Anything that's below this point is not going to be affected by your compressor. Keys. If I bring my threshold down, that equals more compression. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it. Now compared to if I bring it all the way up here like this. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it together. Hardly any of that signal is going to be getting through, so you're not going to be seeing any kind of compression or hearing any kind of compression. So like we said, the goal of the compressor is to reduce the dynamic range, the soft and the loud parts, make them more consistent, and the role that the threshold is playing in that process is it's saying, hey, once you get past me, you're about to get that work. And we're going to start bringing that signal down. Perfect T up there, which is our next setting that we're going to be covering, the ratio. So let's explain exactly what this ratio is doing. So the ratio tells your compressor how much to compress after this signal gets through your threshold. What these numbers mean, this is a 1-to-1 ratio, and basically what it means is it says, hey, once the signal gets past the threshold, for every 1 decibel that gets through, specifically for a 1-to-1 ratio, for every 1 dB that gets through or decibel that gets through, we're going to bring it down to 1 decibel. Let's think about that. If 1 decibel gets through and it's brought down to 1 decibel, nothing's happening because it's already 1 decibel, right? But let's go to the extreme and say, hey, let's set it to a 100-to-1 ratio. So for every 100 dB of signal that gets through, that's going to be brought down to 1 dB. If we set it to 1-to-1, spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it. And the way that you can see if compression's happening is this meter right here. It's called your gain reduction meter. But if it's a 1-to-1 ratio, for every 1 dB that gets through, it's brought down to 1 dB. So nothing's happening. Let's go to the extreme. So for every 100 decibels it gets through, we're going to bring it down to 1 decibel. So let's play it and kind of show you what happens. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it. So that is clearly an extreme example. So before you freak out and say, oh my gosh, like how do I know like what to set it to? That's a lot of numbers. Let's kind of walk through a common vocal setting. My sweet spot for your ratio is going to be a 2-to-1 up to about a 4-to-1 ratio to maintain a nice natural sounding compression. So that's simple, right? That's the goal of the video, is to keep this as simple as possible. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is the attack and the release. So the attack and the release has an extreme impact on the sound of your compressor. So the two things that I want to point out about your attack time and your release time is number one, these settings, similar to the ratio, only impacts the signal that gets past your threshold. I want to make sure that's super clear. The second thing that I want to kind of bring up about the attack and release is they honestly do what they sound like. Let me explain. let's break down the attack time. So your attack time tells your compressor how fast or slow your compressor latches on to the signal after it gets through this threshold. So generally, the attack time is broken down into microseconds, which is the US symbol here, and then it goes up to milliseconds, which is the MS here. The microseconds is going to be faster and the milliseconds being a little bit slower. So as we dial this back like that, that means that we're going to have a slow attack time. Down here is going to mean that we're going to have a fast attack time. So as soon as it gets through the threshold, if we have it here, as soon as that signal comes through the threshold, it's getting grabbed and brought down. The reason why, especially for vocals, you want to typically have a medium attack time, it's saying, hey, we're going to let some of this signal get through here before we start to compress it. That way you can still keep the good things, but you can take away the things that you don't want and make sure that you're keeping that vocal nice and consistent, but you're not losing some of the frequencies and the tone that you do want to keep within your vocal. So let me kind of give you an example of kind of what's going to be happening here. So we'll kind of set it really fast.
Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together.
Compared to if we bring it back.
Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together.
So as you can tell, whenever I had the attack time down here, it just loses some of that energy. It loses some of the life. So that's basically what is happening here with your attack. So as soon as it gets through the threshold, your attack time is saying, hey, as soon as you get through here, we're attacking you, we're latching onto the signal, and we're bringing it down super fast. Or it's going to say, hey, we're going to let you kind of do what you do for a little bit, and then we're going to attack. To start bringing that signal down to get a nice consistent signal. Then that leads us right into the release time. So basically what the release says, it says, hey, once this signal gets through the threshold, the attack time's latching onto it. Your release time is saying how long is this compressor going to latch on to this signal before it gets released back to its original volume. So fast release time, it's going to be automatically let right back up to the original volume. Now, if it's a slow release, it's going to say, I'm going to hold on to this signal for a little bit before I let it come back up to its original volume. So just kind of go back and forth between a super fast release and a super slow release and see what's happening.
Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together.
And a common vocal setting for the release time for compression is typically going to be a medium to fast release. This allows your signal to get a touch of compression without overdoing it and making your vocals sound like it's pulsing or pumping. Let's go ahead and break down what this gain knob is going to be doing. Whenever you do start compressing your vocals, one of the things that is going to happen is you're clearly going to be losing a little bit of volume to your overall signal. So basically what this gain is going to be doing is going to say, hey, we need to get this volume back up to the original volume that we had coming in. So let's kind of see if we need to add some gain back here.
Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it. Baby, can I pull up on you? Tell me what the code is. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it.
Our compressor is not working extremely heavy on this specific example, but if you ended up having to compress your vocals pretty heavy, you're probably going to have to add a little bit more makeup gain back to your signal to get it back to the original volume level of your original signal. That's literally what the gain knob is doing. So basically what you got here with a knee is you're typically going to have a soft knee or a hard knee. That's a more common setting within most compressors. So basically what the knee does is it kind of tells your compressor, hey, how do I want to respond to the signal as that signal gets closer to the threshold. I typically don't even mess with that. I'll leave it as is, and it gives me the sound that I want. Now what we need to do, we need to go back to our threshold and adjust it accordingly. My sweet spot for vocal compression is typically going to be anywhere from about 3 dB to 6 dB of compression. And we're just going to dial the threshold here.
Pull up on you, tell me what the code is. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin
Baby,
it, spin it.
what we're trying to do here is we don't want to make anything super fancy. We're not EQing. We're not boosting anything. We're just wanting to get a nice, consistent vocal so that we can start to add that sauce, you know, within the EQ, within the reverb, with all that stuff as you start to actually start diving into mixing. Let's play it without the beat and see exactly what our compressor just did to those vocals.
Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together. Yeah, girl, I wanna spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it together.
So as you can tell, nice, moderate compression, much more consistent vocal, really teeing us up to start adding the drip later on within the mix. And last but not least, let's go ahead and go over my most common, my go-to vocal compression settings. You've honestly already got them as I've kind of sprinkled these in within the video, but I did want to at least make a portion here for a very quick reference. We'll start with a ratio. My most common 2-to-1 ratio up to about a 4-to-1 ratio. That just allows me to have that nice, natural vocal compression. For my attack time, almost always going to have it at kind of like a medium attack time to potentially a slower attack time. That allows the vocal tone to kind of cut through and the vocal transients to cut through, basically keeping the good and getting rid of the bad. For the release settings, that's always set to a medium because, you know, you don't want that compressor to be holding on to that signal too much. That's going to give your vocal that not so nice, unnatural, pumping, pulsing sound. For the threshold, that's going to just depend on your vocal. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to adjust that threshold to wherever your gain reduction or your compression is hitting in between, you know, -3 to -6 dB. Definitely my sweet spot for vocals. And for the gain knob, that obviously depends on every take as well, because every take's going to be a little bit different, and you just want to blend that up until your vocal is about right at the same level that it sounded like before your vocal compression kicked in. So that does it. It's as simple as that. That's vocal compression made simple. I really hope that this added some serious value to you and really give you that confidence to pursue audio engineering as a recording artist or an aspiring audio engineer. Hey, if you're brand new to Pro Tools and you don't quite know your way around Pro Tools, or you've considered hopping on Pro Tools but you're kind of hesitant to do so because Pro Tools, you know, may feel like it's too complex, I actually just came out with a brand new training. It's a 60-minute in-depth training showing you my exact techniques, taking you from zero experience to, by the end of the 60 minutes, I guarantee you that you're going to be recording some radio-ready vocals in Pro Tools. I'm giving you templates, I'm giving you the video training, I'm giving you guides, all that good stuff. So if you're brand new to Pro Tools or you want that extra boost of confidence, this may be something worth checking out. Hey, and if this video was helpful, smash that subscribe button. We're going to continue to give you the value, the nuggets, the knowledge, all that good stuff. But that wraps up this video. We'll see you here soon. Until then, I'm out of here. Peace.